Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Warriors are really in decline, even if they have won some games. Buddy Hield was already a fan favorite, but suddenly his production dropped alarmingly. There are rumors that the player could be involved in business, and the Los Angeles Lakers have long been interested in the player. The Warriors need a good defender, and Lakers' Jared Vanderbilt would fit perfectly with the Warriors, and a trade for Buddy Hield could be advantageous. Rumors: due to Buddy Hield's bad form, he could be traded. When Buddy Hield led the Golden State Warriors to a brilliant start as one of the league's best players over the first 2 weeks of the season, rival fans were quick to point out that this was a constant trend for the veteran sharpshooter throughout his career. Despite recently getting back in the win column by defeating the struggling Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors have largely played uninspiring as of late. After looking like legitimate contenders throughout the first month and change of the season, the Warriors have unraveled ever since, looking much more like pretenders as of late. Even after taking a mini swing and acquiring Dennis Schroeder, little has changed. The Warriors are just 2-4 in the games Schroeder has been active for. Stephen Curry is still playing at or near his peak, doing absolutely mind-boggling things on a regular basis. Jonathan Kuminga seems to finally be coming into his own. And Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green continue to perform mostly up to their standards. Some of the other members of the Warriors supporting cast, however, have really taken substantial steps back since starting the campaign off strong. One supporting cast member in particular, whose play has seemingly fallen off a cliff following a strong first month of the season, is Buddy Hield. The disappearing act of Warriors' most significant offseason addition. Analysis of Buddy Hield's first 15 games. Buddy Hield began his Warriors career on quite the heater. The former 6th overall pick routinely demonstrated his ignitability from long range, and even kept the Warriors afloat with his offensive exploits during Curry's multi-game injury absence earlier in the season. Mostly coming off the bench, Hield was an early favorite to take home 6th Man of the Year honors. Additionally, with his fiery three-point shooting, Hield made significant strides in easing the heartache of many Warriors fans still bemoaning the loss of Klay Thompson. During Hield's first 15 games with the Warriors, there seemed to be a real connection between him and his teammates, and with the coaching staff, the chemistry was palpable. Hield understood the assignment, and was deployed accordingly. The fit from a team perspective, strategic perspective, and organization perspective all seemed like a match made in heaven. Hield himself even went as far as to say that joining the Warriors really reignited his love for basketball. For a team in dire need of shooting and offensive support for Curry, the 16.2 points per game that Hield was providing, while canning 44.2% of his triples no less, was really a revelation during the early season for the Warriors. Analysis of Buddy Hield's last 16 games. For whatever reason, following Hield's dynamic first 15-game run, things took a dramatic turn for the worse. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what caused Hield's production to take a dip, but in no uncertain terms, Hield has been almost unplayable as of late due to his struggles. Pick a stat, any stat, and Hield has likely been struggling, and it's beginning to weigh on his teammates. Over the course of Hield's last 16 games, he's averaging just 9.8 points per game, and his three-point shooting is all the way down to 34.9%. Those numbers on their own may not seem reprehensible, but considering Hield is essentially a complete and total non-factor in most other areas, it's understandable that Coach Kerr has begun to slash his minutes. It's impossible to tell when Hield will be able to get out of his slump, but if Saturday's win over the Suns is any sort of a reference point, it won't be anytime soon. Hield's struggles reached a new nadir on Saturday, when he put up 0 points on 0-7 shooting in 15 minutes. The massive drop-off in play the Warriors have experienced over the last month or two goes far beyond just Buddy Hield's struggles. but with that being said, Hield failing to provide the off-the-bench spark that he did earlier in the season certainly isn't helping. After starting out strong, Hield has continually shown an inability to be counted on by the Warriors. Unfortunately for Hield, his minutes have begun to shrink accordingly. Hield, who at one time looked like a strong candidate to be a mainstay in many of the Warriors' most featured lineups, now no longer even feels deserving of guaranteed minutes. Hield's situation will be worth monitoring because there's a chance if his play doesn't pick up, he won't even survive the trade deadline with the Warriors. Warriors have come to a Buddy Hield realization others warned about. Hield was indeed electric through his first 8 games, averaging 21.1 points on over 50% shooting from three-point range to help Golden State to a surprise 7-1 record. But since then it's been a major struggle for the 31-year-old who's averaged just 10 points on less than 40% shooting from the floor and 34.6% from beyond the arc. Warrior fans have been quick to realize that the Hield cycle is indeed real, that he usually lights it up for his new team to start, yet quickly descends into an inconsistent offensive player with huge defensive concerns. It appears the Warriors have also come to this realization, with Hield's minutes starting to dip over recent games. The former 6th overall pick was an important part of Steve Kerr's rotation over the first 25 games where he averaged 24 minutes, but since then that has dropped to 18.4 minutes over his last 6 appearances. That period has also coincided with the arrival of Dennis Schroeder, with a large part of that acquisition coming because Hield and Golden State's other options weren't effective next to Stephen Curry in the backcourt. Nothing sums up Hield's recent decline more than a viral moment on Saturday where Draymond Green was caught cussing him out during the third quarter. The Warrior veteran was heard yelling for Hield to wake the up or go sit the down, with Green showing no regrets for his actions during the post-game press conference. Hield was appalling over Friday and Saturday's back-to-back, combining for just 5 total points on 2 of 15 shooting from the floor and 1 of 13 from three-point range. If he's going to continue delivering performances like that over the next few weeks, Hield could well become a trade candidate prior to the February 6th deadline. We're all gonna get traded, Draymond, on what will happen if the Warriors don't turn things around. The Golden State Warriors have had a real up and down start to the 2024-25 season, transitioning from being one of the best teams in the loaded Western Conference to standing out of a secure playoff spot. The poor play from Dubs has raised concerns about their roster and ability to still contend for a championship. Draymond Green, the vocal leader, recently came out and spoke about the situation in the Bay. As usual, Dre didn't hold back, saying that the whole roster should be on trade watch if they don't pick up their games and start getting some wins. "We gotta win games or, I told the guys, we're all gonna get traded out of here, so we better win some games," Draymond exclaimed. Anything to get that W. Golden State started off the season with a 12-3 record and looked poised to give Stephen Curry and Draymond another go at winning a title. However, things cooled down quickly after that, falling down to a 16-15 record at the moment and the 9th place in the WC standings. With teams like the San Antonio Spurs and Phoenix Suns right behind them, the Dubs are close to being even out of a play-in spot. That would be a huge disappointment for a Warriors roster that many predicted had the depth to challenge anyone in the playoffs. However, despite looking good on paper, things haven't fallen into place for the Dubs. Green thinks everyone should look in the mirror and try stepping out of their comfort zones as he has, playing the center position most of the time despite being just 6 feet 6 inches. "We gotta do what we gotta do to win games, whatever that looks like. For me, coming into the season, I'll be honest. I didn't want to play a ton of 5. It's hard, I don't love it for entire games, but I love to win, and more importantly, I hate to lose," Green explained. Players need to find roles. Acquiring Dennis Schroeder was a good move, but the German hasn't translated his form with the Brooklyn Nets to the Bay. Jonathan Kuminga has been a constant problem that Steve Kerr simply can't find a position and role for. Brandon Podziemski is having a rough year, Buddy Hield has cooled off, and Curry is looking far from his prime years. Draymond has been loud and clear in trying to get his team to ramp it up, as evidenced by his recent comments for Hield. After scolding him mid-game for lack of effort, Green took it post-game to explain to Buddy why he should listen to his advice. "I've happened to play a lot of championship basketball, a lot of meaningful basketball. Buddy hasn't had the opportunity to play a bunch of meaningful basketball in this league. Guess what? It's our job to make sure he understands what that means. And if people don't like it, so be it. That's why they don't have 4 championships, and I do," Dre added. The Warriors' locker room and atmosphere don't look too happy right now, but there is still a lot of time to turn things around. That is if the front office's patience doesn't run out and everyone gets traded, as Draymond said.